A stock ticker board flashes red across a darkened trading floor. The numbers don't stop falling. April 15, 1998, $14 billion disappears from a single company's value in one trading day. Not over a year, not over a quarter, one day. And the company at the center of it all had just finished celebrating the biggest merger in its industry's history. This is the story of Cendant Corporation, and the man who built a fraud so deep, it took federal investigators years to fully untangle it. Picture a glass office tower in Stamford, Connecticut. Inside, a company called CUC International is humming with confidence. Founded in the 1970s by a man named Walter Forbes, CUC built its empire selling membership programs, travel discounts, shopping clubs, insurance add-ons, the kind of recurring subscription business that looks incredible on paper because the revenue keeps rolling in every single month. By the 1990s, CUC was a Wall Street darling. Forbes was seen as a visionary. The stock kept climbing. Analysts loved the recurring revenue model. There was just one problem. A significant chunk of that revenue wasn't real. For years, investigators would later trace it back as far as the late 1980s, CUC's finance team had been manufacturing earnings. The method was almost boringly simple once you understand it. Every quarter, real businesses set aside merger reserves, cash held back to cover the costs of acquiring other companies. CUC's executives discovered they could quietly pull money out of those reserves and slide it into revenue instead, making the company look more profitable than it actually was. When that wasn't enough, they invented fictitious membership sales outright. Numbers on a screen, no actual customers behind them. A conference room table covered in falsified financial reports under fluorescent lighting. The fraud worked because nobody was looking hard enough. CUC's auditors signed off year after year. Wall Street was too busy admiring the growth to ask uncomfortable questions. And the deception had a built-in safety valve. Every time the company made an acquisition, the accounting team had a fresh opportunity to bury old lies inside the books of the newly acquired business. Then, in December 1997, CUC merged with a hotel and real estate franchising company called HFS Incorporated. The combined company took a new name, Cendant Corporation. It was framed as a transformational deal, a new conglomerate spanning travel, real estate, and consumer services, instantly one of the largest companies of its kind in the country. A boardroom handshake between executives beneath a company banner unveiling. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. As part of integrating the two companies' finances, new accounting staff started digging into CUC's books that had been carefully managed for over a decade by people who knew exactly where the bodies were buried. Within months, they found inconsistencies that didn't add up. Then more. Then a pattern too large to explain away. On April 15, 1998, Cendant announced it had discovered accounting irregularities in its CUC business unit. The numbers were staggering. Roughly $500 million in fictitious revenue had been booked over the preceding 3 years alone, with the full pattern of manipulation stretching back over a decade. Wall Street didn't wait for the full investigation. The stock collapsed in a single trading session, wiping out approximately $14 billion in market value. At the time, one of the largest one-day value destructions in corporate history. Pension funds, mutual funds, and individual investors who had trusted Cendant's growth story watched their holdings gut overnight. An empty trading floor at the end of the day, papers scattered, screens still glowing red. The investigation that followed became one of the largest white-collar fraud cases the SEC had ever pursued. At the center of it was Walter Forbes, the man who had built CUC from the ground up and become its public face for 2 decades. Prosecutors alleged he had personally directed the earnings manipulation, pressuring subordinates to find ways to hit quarterly targets, no matter what the real numbers said. Forbes denied everything. He maintained he had no knowledge that his finance team was cooking the books, that the fraud had been carried out beneath him, not by him. It set up one of the longest-running corporate fraud trials in American history. The first trial, in 2004, ended in a hung jury. The second trial, in 2005, also ended in a hung jury. It took a third trial in 2006 and 2007, nearly a decade after the fraud was first uncovered, before a jury finally convicted Forbes of conspiracy, securities fraud, and making false statements to regulators. He was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison, one of the longest sentences ever handed down in a corporate accounting fraud case at the time. A federal courthouse steps, rain streaking down stone columns. His co-conspirator, CUC's Vice Chairman Kirk Shelton, was also convicted and sentenced separately. Several other executives pleaded guilty along the way and cooperated with prosecutors, helping piece together a paper trail that stretched back further than almost anyone outside the company had imagined. Cendant itself survived, but barely resembled the company that had been built. It eventually broke itself apart entirely, spinning off into separate businesses across travel, real estate, and other industries. The conglomerate dream that had been sold to investors in 1997 dissolved within a few years of the scandal becoming public. What makes the Cendant fraud different from a lot of corporate collapses isn't the size of the number, even though $14 billion in a single day is staggering. It's the timeline. This wasn't a scheme that ran for a year or two before falling apart. It was built slowly, quarter by quarter, reserve by reserve, for the better part of a decade, hidden in plain sight inside a company that Wall Street trusted precisely because its growth looked so steady and so real. It's a reminder that the most dangerous frauds aren't always the dramatic ones. Sometimes they're the quiet ones, the kind that just keep meeting expectations year after year until the day someone finally opens the wrong file. If you want more stories like this, subscribe. New corporate scandal every day.